Good morning, everyone. How good is it here to be here again? I'm so excited to be welcoming you all back to the Strengthening Disability Advocacy Conference again after 3 long years. So before I go on, I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay my respect to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. So it's been a long 3 years. The last time I was standing here was in 2019, and not one of us could have imagined how the world was about to change. So when COVID-19 hit our shores, disability advocates were overrun with issues relating to not only people with disabilities trying to manage to keep safe from the virus, but accessing services when person-to-person contact was severely limited. Trying to switch to virtual service delivery when many people needed extra support to do so. Mask wearing and issues with communication. There were also huge issues in relation to education access and employment access. And on top of this, multiple disasters all happening at the same time. Floods, storms, bushfires, earthquakes, you name it, we had it. It really brought to light some big flaws in our system. Advocates have never been in more demand. It also really brought to the forefront how much the NDIS could not be the only lifeboat in the ocean. At the end of the day, the NDIS was not going to save everyone. Our mainstream service system needed to step up and be inclusive and responsive to the needs of people with disabilities too. So this year's conference theme is Other Lifeboats in the Ocean, and the agenda will focus on the role of universal and mainstream services in supporting access, inclusion and well-being for Victorians with a disability outside of the NDIS. We'll particularly look to highlight the Victorian Government's whole of government disability inclusion agenda, broader social inclusion agenda, flagship systems reform and the opportunities that these present. How are these all performing really? We have designed the program with you, the audience, in mind, so we want to hear from you. What's working, what's not? What more needs to happen to make these systems more inclusive of people with disabilities? We hope you're ready, not just to listen to our excellent lineup, but also to participate, talk, share, come up with some great innovative ways to make our systems more inclusive and responsive. So a few bits of housekeeping before we get stuck in. In case of an emergency, NAB fire wardens will attend, so please calmly follow instructions. Toilets straight out the door to my left, right up to almost the end of the corridor, and then turn right near the turnstiles. Or for accessible bathrooms, left out of this room, then a hard left again down the side, and you'll find accessible bathrooms down the hall. The water stations are just outside of this room. All the people with the red vest that you see are Garvey and BCOS team members and are all here to assist you today with anything you need. The details for Wi-Fi and live captioning access are on your tables. If anyone requires quiet space, behind the stage to my right, there is a green room so you can access today. So if you need quiet space, just pop into the green room just to the side of this stage. So we're really keen to make sure that you're involved in all aspects of today and also for future conferences. So in your bag, you will see a postcard or a notepad, and then you will find a fishbowl at the registration desk. So feel free to jot down any ideas or wonderings or bright sparks or feedback, good or bad, and then put them in the fishbowl. And the team will later on consider and just work with those ideas later on. We also have a videographer over here, and our Daru staff member Radhika. Radhika, can you put your hand up? Over there, she's got it waving at the back. They'll be recording some short interviews, asking your views and thoughts on some of the topics that we're discussing today. So please don't be shy, have your say, and participate as much as you can. But let's get started. So before we kick off, I'd love to extend a warm welcome to Wurundjeri Elder Tony Garvey.
First of all, I'd just like to thank you very much for that warm welcome and thank all the sponsors of the event today for this very important cause. Yes, we do need more money for the disability services and it couldn't come quick enough. So I'm right behind you. I'm supporting you all the way. I'd like to start off with saying Wurundjeri to everyone. Wurundjeri in the Wurundjeri Wurrung language means welcome. So welcome to all Indigenous and non-Indigenous people here today. Also, I'd just like to say I'm very proud and honoured to be standing tall for my people once again, like I have done for 35 years and will continue to do so for the rights of their lands. My great-grandfather was the last Narangita for Wurundjeri. Narangita in the Wurundjeri Wurrung language means last head tribesman living on the land out at Corandurk on the mission where I live today. He took over from my great uncle, which was King Barak. King Barak was our fearless leader that took on the governments in the 1800s right through till 1906 when he passed. My great-grandfather took over from there and led our mob from 1906 till 1926 when the mission was closed due to colonisation and being forced out into white society. The Wurundjeri people, they are also a part of the Kulin Nation. So Kulin means man. In the Kulin Nation, we had the 5 language groups. We had the Wurrung to the west, the Wurrung, who were the westerly neighbours to the Wurrung, Tanarong to the northeast, Bunurong to the southwest, and the Wurrung of the Wurundjeri territory that we stand on here today. The Wurundjeri lies within the cities of Melbourne, extend from the mountains of the Great Dividing Range, south of the Yarra River to the Mordialloc Creek, west to the Werribee River, and east to Mount Baw. The Wurundjeri people, they have a social totem. It is Bunjil the eagle. Bunjil represents spiritual powers throughout many parts of Australia. Bunjil taught all the laws about life, behaviour and ceremonies to make sure that our culture would continue for all walks of life throughout Australia. So Bunjil was referred to as the creator of mankind. Bunjil created great people from the land. That is why we call the land our mother or the mother of creation. Never can the land be taken away. The land will always belong to Aboriginal people, as we are part of the land and the land is part of us. Our story is similar to the European people. Theirs is by their chosen faith, ours is by the dream time. We both have creators and beliefs, and ours is Bunjil. It is a traditional custom of the Australian Aboriginal communities to be asked and to give permission for people to enter their lands. And today you've now joined with me to honour the spirits of my ancestors, past, present and merging, who have nurtured these lands for over 60,000 years. And we, as the owners of the lands, offer our heartily welcome to the lands and hope that together as citizens of this beautiful country, we can build, develop and unite stronger nations for all peoples. I'll close in the Wurrung language, which is Wurundjeri, Wandun, Wurundjeri, Balak, Yemen, Kumbibik, which means you're most welcome to the land of the Wurundjeri people. Before I jump down, I just want to touch, I understand, I think everyone in this room's a yes voter, I think. So I'm right behind really pushing the... I'm right behind pushing the yes all the way. I think it's well and truly time for us to be in the Constitution. I don't know why we weren't put in there right from the word go. I think it's a no-brainer. You know, I'm a little bit lost with it because it's all been set up by the government. It hasn't even really been asked what the Indigenous people actually want in the voice. So I think it's all done back to front. I think they should have done a treaty first, then they should have done a voice. So then they would know what to add into the Constitution. So I don't know what's behind it, but I'm definitely supporting it because I've been fighting for our voice in Parliament for a long time now. And it was meant to happen 25 years ago and it never happened. And so we've been promised the world and delivered nothing, basically. And so your support behind us means a lot. And, we respect all cultures, no matter where you come from. We respect all cultures that respect us. So, welcome to the lands of from our people. And thank you very much for having me here today. Have a great event. We'll talk later. Thank you.